Hey guys, Cam315 back out with another video for you guys, back with another episode review of Oshi No Ko. You're getting a dual episode review of episode 2 and 3. Apologies for not getting my episode 2 out on schedule. One, I've just been enjoying Arknight's Enfield like the back of my head. So I've been trying to play a lot of that and trying to split my time and things like that. And I just keep remembering, oh wait, I gotta do reviews. But apologies for that. So look, man. If these last two episodes don't show you more than enough that Ruby is an absolute demon, bro, I think I watched somebody else's review after watching episode 3, and I think he perfectly encapsulated the fact that Ruby may be even more sadistic than Aqua was when he was on his revenge arc. Now, I do believe that Aqua's gonna get back on the revenge arc thing, but like, holy hell, man. Ruby and the fact that she's manipulating and doing all these things is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane, dude. You know, the way how she's kind of like, I guess, using the assistant director. And then what we see in this episode, this most recent episode, especially with the fact that you end off the episode with Aqua questioning, like, yo, did you set everything up here? Which is crazy, right? Absolutely crazy. So one, in episode 2, we do see Ruby talking to Ai's agent, or I guess you can say her manager, which is crazy that we've never seen Aqua actually like talk to this dude and catch up with the manager and say like, hey, yada yada yada, right? And Ruby's getting to the main point of the thing because it's clear, you know, she's trying to ask him the question like, come on, tell me about my mom and who she was potentially with and, you know, who my father could be. And obviously dude's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but it's clear you would think he would have an idea of who was Ai's significant other, right? And it's crazy because she does say something to him, and it actually gets him like all perked up and happy, like, oh wow, da 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 da. And it's like, oh, this girl's got him in the palm of her hands. Dude, listen. All I can say is this, dude. When I knew Ruby after the end of season 2 was gonna go on her like revenge evil arc, bro, I'm thinking like, dude, there's no way she's this devious of a character. She's gonna be like that on Aqua. Like, yes, we're gonna get more of a focus, but dude, she is a demon. Like, she is not only wanting to find who killed the doctor that she was in love with, she's trying to get Aqua desperately to get back to going on his revenge arc. And it's absolutely crazy that I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, I thought Oshi No Ko was gonna be like, okay, it's gonna be interesting still to say the least, but I wonder where the story is gonna definitely go now that Aqua's not in his revenge arc. Bro, you can make the case that Ruby in 2 episodes or 3 episodes of this entire season, I'm like, bro, she's been more influential of trying to get revenge than I ever saw what Aqua did in season 1 and 2. Like, Jesus, what Ruby has been doing, the way she's like planning this whole thing out, it's like as if she's making that she knows, okay, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. I'm gonna make it in this, and I know exactly what's going to happen. And it's absolutely crazy that this girl is planning this whole thing out just to try to get her brother to join back up on the thing and look for her mom's killer. Now, where does that leave her once she gets Aqua back on board? Is she gonna willingly work with Aqua, saying like, brother, we need to go find mother's killer, we need to go find father? And is Aqua gonna be like, yes sister, we need to go do that? It's definitely interesting to say the least, right? Now, the main purpose of episode 2 was just highlighting the assistant director and how much stress it is with the assistant director. But I think one other thing I gotta make a mention is about Akane and Aqua's death. And I guess you can say she kind of makes a Halloween threat to him at the same time, you can kind of see that the relationship is probably not healthy. Now, episode 2 further confirms it, if anything, because now Akane is clearly aware of it, and I think it just completely confirms it from the way Akane talked. Basically, Akane does make the mention to the audience, because she's thinking in her head, and it's clear. Aqua is clearly much in love with Ruby. Not Ruby. Kana. My God, what the hell? Jesus, no one ought to like for whenever Ruby fucking finds out that Aqua is the doctor, she's gonna fall for him. I guess we'll get to I guess whenever that is revealed at some point, because you know that's gonna be revealing. So maybe that is the reason why people hated Oshi No Ko. You know, eventually she will find out and she's gonna start falling for Aqua. But we'll get to that when the time comes, if that ever happens, right? Don't spoil it in the comment section, please. Thank you. But it's basically admitted that it's clear Aqua has feelings for Kana. And Akane knows like the reason why he's staying away from her and things like that. So I think it's basically is clear. Because even we see in this episode, this most recent episode, when Kana's doing her little skit of talking to the Tokyo Blade director, right? You see the look on Aqua's face, and it's like a look of like, I want to say deject, but like a look of like, I don't want to see her right now. And it's like, it's crazy. So, and it's clear, like, I've always figured that Kana and Aqua would be a nice pairing, but again, Aqua has these fears of, well, if I date Kana, what if somebody finds that out and they kill her? I don't want to lose her, so I'm going to protect her against her own good, even if it means shutting her out of my life, even if it means I'm giving up on somebody that I have deep feelings for, which is crazy, which means like he only started dating Akane just out of basically a necessity to try to make himself feel good, because Akane is like, you know, I can clearly tell he has more of an affection towards Kana than he does me, but hey, you know, it's all right. I'm gonna just enjoy what he's giving me, and I'm gonna take advantage of it because he's being super nice to me, he's caring, and albeit I know his heart's probably with another girl, at least he's being committed to me, so there's nothing wrong with that, right? And for her, it's clear, we know she likes Aqua like that. Aqua clearly, for what we know now, is he doesn't like her that type of way back, but he's just like, well, I guess I can't go wrong with her because she's an actor, and it's not going to be widely like critical, or nobody would go crazy on her for having a boyfriend like that, right? As opposed to Kana. Albeit, I'm just of the personal opinion, like Ninja. I'm now, again, this is Japan, and in Japanese culture, idols are beloved, and it's basically a taboo for an idol to have a significant other unless they're like, I guess, retired. I guess you can say the least, right? Well, I don't know about that. If like a idol retires in Japan, if they end up having a significant other, but again, like I said, I just don't know. Like go where your heart goes. If your heart is towards Kana, you should be like, screw it. We'll just keep our relationship a secret, and we probably may just have to have dates at home. We probably can't go out on dates, and things like that. So, that's kind of the thing. And then, you can maybe look at it in Kana's shoes. Maybe she should have never just signed up to be an idol if we knew she liked Aqua this entire time, and if she knew idol culture was very toxic amongst dating and that type of relationships with dudes and everything. It's like, well, then why did you agree to join B Komachi and everything and be an integral part? You could have just stayed an actor, and then maybe things would have been better. I don't know. That's something that it's kind of that type of thing, but you kind of have that whole thing, and you kind of have this harrowing topic, or maybe a foreshadowing of like, well, if he ever, where Akane basically is like, if he ever cheats on me, I'm gonna kill him. So, and you just have it where Aqua kind of gets like this chill down his spine, like, what the fuck? So I wonder if that is going to be a foreshadowing plot point moment to where, I don't know, maybe at some point he just lets his hormones get in, and maybe he does something to a girl, or maybe he hooks up with somebody, or a girl forcibly hooks up with him, and then he quote unquote cheats. I could perfectly see it in something crazy happening to where you get this plot twist and it ends up when Aqua's somewhat cheating on Akane when he wasn't probably intentionally doing it, maybe, unless he does intentionally do it, if especially if it's to get any more advice on, okay, who the hell is my mom's killer, right? Is that gonna come to the foreshadowing where Akane is gonna like, I'm going to kill you, Aqua, because you betrayed my trust? We'll see, right? We'll see where it goes there. But mostly this episode 2 was mostly about what we see with this assistant director and how much stress he's being put under for this absolute asshole of a director, right? His boss, right? So basically the main premise is this dude's trying to come up with an idea and he's like, hey, how about we do a cosplay shoot? And we do a cosplay of, oh, that Tokyo Blade show, right? Yeah, that's great. Now the assistant director is doing the right thing, saying, well, hey, boss man, like, look, okay, fine, that sounds like a good idea, but we got to make sure we have all the rights. We got to ask the author, like, hey, are we good to use your IP to do this for, say, an episode or, a feature or something like that? And he does make the mention, like, look, looking through the history, like, the author rarely gives the rights and IP to do something, for anything, right? And you just have it to where the dude is like, oh, don't worry, I'll take care of it and things like that. And then next thing you know, like, he was told no, and the assistant, or one, he tells the assistant director, hey, go find cosplayers and tell them that they can dress up as Tokyo Blade character. But then you got the assistant director again doing the right thing, saying like, but shouldn't we ask the author to get obviously confirmation we're good to do that? And that's the whole thing about copyright infringement and things like that, because that product or that brand of Tokyo Blade or that thing, that wasn't their product. So they can't willingly just say, yeah, green light this. You got to go through the legal paperwork to tell like the person who initially did said thing, like, hey, is it okay we use your IP? It's kind of like the same thing, like if you're playing music in the background, you have to get basically a license. You got to basically get confirmation. You got to get approval from the said person who did said music, or compose said music, so then you're able to use it in whatever media you're able to do. Otherwise, that's basically copyright. You're using it for your own personal gain. And is the original source going to get anything from it? No, they're not, because guess what? They're not being credited properly. That's why you have it to where, authors and certain singers and other things like that, or artists and stuff like that, they get very pissy if you use something of them, or you use like their art or something else that's in their field, and they're not properly getting credited or cited for it. Because it's like, no, you're taking away people from me that, hey, that's fine, but at least they know, like, oh, this came from this person. It's the whole thing of like, oh, I like what this person did, but I also like what maybe the original source did. So it's crazy, right? And you just have it where Ruby's manipulating her way through it. And then also too, the guy's being put under stress because all these cosplayers are turning him down, saying they don't want nothing to do with TV, we're good. So Ruby works her magic. She actually gets Minami to actually join up, even though Minami is like, well, I don't think that's really a good idea, but she reluctantly does it, right? The assistant director's sister, albeit she's a VTuber, she kind of reluctantly does it. And I'm just like, this is not going to go well, right? But then you just have it where the director, like, last minute tells them, like, hey, you need to tell the cosplayers they need to do a different cosplay, because guess what? Things fell through the roof. We didn't get approval for the Tokyo Blade things, so yada yada yada. And you can clearly tell, like, this dude does not listen to him, does not care about his assistant director, and he's not giving him the time of day. He's not even respecting him to even collaborate with him. He's putting him under this immense stress to get everything right. And it really goes, and you can tell by like even in episode 3, like, the dude is stressed out and he probably needs a vacation, because he definitely wasn't in the best mindset. I honestly thought like he was gonna probably kill the damn director because of it. But this leads into episode 3 where the cosplay thing happens, right? And the cosplay moment happens, and they ask for the TV thing, and they ask one of the cosplayer, I think her name is May, right? And the director, through questions, ask her like all these like insane questions about cosplay. Like at one point, he asked like, have you ever had sex in one of your cosplays? And it's like, dog. He's giving like these very inappropriate questions to May, and it's clear like she was very upset by it and she was pissed off by it, and it was a complete turnoff because it's like, what the hell, bro? Like this was never agreed upon to be asking these questions. Like she even says like, well, if these questions were asked in private, I'd be fine with them because I'm chilling, with my peers and everything. But saw yada yada yada, right? So essentially, what happens is after the cosplay shoot, she goes on Twitter, she puts out a tweet talking about how she hates, TV and what they made her do and everything, and it got traction out there to judge the TV show and company, and it's like, okay, shit's not going good. Like, it's not going good. So this is when Ruby comes up with this freaking idea, right? So she's on the game show, and they bring May on, and she even we see a scene where she convinces May, like, come on, don't you want to get them back for what they did to you? We can talk shit about them, and there's not a damn thing they can do, right? And you just have it where Ruby's talking to May on the show and asking all these questions, and May does give her explanation. But then you have it to where that said director, and it was even before this, the director, the assistant director was trying to tell the director, like, dude, what we've been doing this entire time is wrong. And the director's like, I don't give a fuck. Sometimes you got to do shit that doesn't seem right. And it's like, and the other people in the room were like, see, listen, don't blame, like, I don't blame you. Like, this dude is very stubborn and he goes by things in his own way. And he just remembers how things used to be handled. Because the assistant director's like, no, we need to be more respectable of these people. Like, we need to be more respectable. We need to actually care, and we actually need to do the right thing, not this sleazeball shit, right? And we clearly knew, like, the director from episode 2, he was more than likely a damn near pervert, because he was like, can we get any hot or sexy cosplayers to do this? Like, we knew his intentions were not of that of a moral complex. It was just probably him to oogle girls in these very revealing cosplays, because we saw it like time and time again, right? Or we saw it in, like, I think in episode 2 where Minami is like, well, I can't exactly wear like very revealing cosplay, like, because one, I'm not even over 18, like I'm still in high school, like, I can't do that. Like, somebody can get arrested for that shit, right? And I can get in trouble. So that's the whole thing. But you have it to where they basically, Ruby sets it up to where the TV company basically takes responsibility for basically that said director saying those sort of things. So then they bring out the director, who is wearing one of the Tokyo Blade outfits. Now, like I mentioned earlier, Kana was on video talking to the Tokyo Blade author, and the author basically gets a rundown of how copyrights work, and how when people go to these said companies or go to the original source material, it's like, hey, can I use your IP for this said reason? And the author definitely broke it down in a way. It's like, well, I not only have to look into this and see if is it worth our time to do this? Is it worth an investment to give my IP to somebody to promote something for them? And then two, like, is it gonna benefit me in the long term? Because if that's the case, if it doesn't, I'm losing money. When this could be a partnership where we're both making money, I'm getting my whole, thing spread out to the word, and people want to get focused on that, which makes me more money to not only watch more of the shows, probably get some of the books and stuff like that. And that's the thing. And then also too, she made a good point, like, well, if you're giving my title or my IP or my rights to somebody to use, they could be using it for their own selfish reason. Like, she used the example, like, the dude could like make freaking, like, people who do that could make maybe like a figurine that ends up becoming like one of those lewd figurines where you can like take off clothes and things like that. And it was funny because the author was like, I'm not having any of that. My character's not supposed to be treated like that. And she does make the mention, like, it's always funny how they send girls to do this. They never send the guys to do it. Probably because they're self-conscious, because, guys would definitely be like, well, see, we make figurines and we make certain type of figurines for, a certain demographic. We can have, like, PG ones, but we can also have, like, rated R content, essentially, right? And the director's like, see, no, I'm not here to have my series become basically a doujinshi, right? I'm here because I love my series and I want my series to be respected. And if I were to give my series and the rights to people, to other people who may only look at this for as a way to make a quick buck off of something, then what am I doing with my IP? Like, that's not good. Which makes complete sense. Like, if you're the owner for something, you want to make sure that whoever's asking you to use your branding or use your IP on a creation you created, they're using it for ethical and moral means that's not only helping them, but also helping you. And if there's no investment either way, and they're basically taking advantage of it, well, then what's the whole point? And then two, you don't want your original art, stuff to be basically, I guess you can say in her eyes, looted, but that's kind of modern day society right now. Like, for example, like, geez Louise, don't you think so many creators of so many series, wish that their characters were not freaking in that situation that the author was talking about in terms of like being loot and everything? Well, like 100%, like, you can go on Rule 34 and look up any single IP brand that is popular, right? Like Dragon Ball, for example, right? Now, I know, obviously, rest in peace, Akira Toriyama, but I guarantee you on Rule 34, you'll see a lot of lewd art on there. And did these artists absolutely get 100% confirmation to use the rights from Akira Toriyama? No, they just made art similar to that. They made art of it, and they did what they did. And if you've ever been on Rule 34, you know what the hell you've seen. And things like that. So, like, these people have no case. They only do it for their own pleasure and other stuff. And that's not just lewd stuff. It's just other stuff. And people just steal from that just to make money off of them. And they claim it as it's their own property. So it was a nice episode breakdown to show like how copyright works and why sometimes some of the original source materials, they're not so handsy with people that come to them saying, hey, I think this would be a great partnership, right? Altogether, you see the director, he walks out in a Tokyo Blade costume, and we basically find out he actually worked on that said costume, and he formally apologized to May, saying, I truly understand why you guys were pissed off, because her whole thing was pissed off. She was pissed off, like, we were very excited for this, and we stayed up to the wee hours in the morning trying to get this costume done, and then last minute we were told, hey, you can't dress up or you can't cosplay in a Tokyo Blade outfit because we got no approval, right? And it pissed her off. It's like, well, then I had to make and spend time to make a whole new costume when I already used most of my money to maybe make this other cosplay, and I'm being told I gotta change something else. And you can see, like, no, that's actually, making an outfit for a cosplay, it takes a lot of time. And you see how the director, he shows her, like, I tried my best. Now I understand what you've been going through, because, like, look at this. Like, and you can tell, like, it wasn't a good job done by him. And you can clearly tell he put in the work, because you could see how his hands were all beat up, got band-aids and everything over there. And he's like, I'm so sorry. I didn't really, I didn't see how hard you had it. And I didn't understand that. And I didn't understand you were going through all that. So I completely am sorry that I made you waste your time like that and did that. So, albeit the director is an absolute a-hole, it's nice to know that he absolutely understood the error of his ways. And he now understands, like, oh shit, cosplay culture is huge, and it's huge for a reason. And I see why there's so many people that may dedicate a cosplay and they work their tails off to get one done, because they put a lot of work and time and effort into doing that. And that's absolutely facts. Like, if you're putting time and effort into making something or doing something, and somebody just discredits it like it's nothing, well, that means, you're not getting the hours that you wasted all this time making or doing something. Making or doing something only for it to be basically put down like as if it's trash, So there's the whole thing. And then you got the episode ending off with Aqua saying, did you instigate all this? And from what I've seen with some of the reviews I've been seeing, the whole thing is, did Ruby instigate this whole thing Was she the person that set this whole thing up from way back, even in episode 2, where maybe she set up the questions to be asked, so it gets the cosplayer May to be pissed off, knowing, oh, she's gonna tweet this, how much she hates this, yada yada yada. Which, if that is the case, if Ruby set this whole operation, because Aqua asked her this to Ruby, and she's like, what do you mean, brother? What do you mean? And I'm like, oh, hell no. If Ruby set this whole shit up from episode 2 to what we got at the conclusion here, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. We might not just be dealing with just cute little Ruby anymore. Now I want cute Ruby Hoshino back now, because she was an angel in the first, and then up until the last 2 episodes of season 2, just perfect. And then all of a sudden she finds out the professor's dead. She becomes Satan incarnate. Holy dude, I'm not joking, bro. She might be even more dangerous, more devious than fucking Aqua ever was in his revenge phase. I never thought she'd go this damn far. And if there is any fact, the fact that, oh yeah, I set those questions up. I set this whole situation up because I knew this was going to happen. She is a girl that is playing chess and everybody else is playing checkers. Fuck, you can even say she's been playing more chess than Aqua ever did when he was the one playing the chess. Because it's like, dude, ain't no fucking way. We'll see. Guess next week explained. I will be explained. Maybe she'll say that and she'll admit to Aqua, I want you to find Mom's killer. So, yeah. But anyways, I'm gonna go for guys. Great last 2 episodes of Oshi No Ko. I definitely can't wait to see where we're gonna go with the story going into episode 4 and things like that. But anyways, I'm gonna go over, guys. Till then, guys, stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your day or your night or whenever you're checking out this video. Till then, guys, peace.